What's going on, guys? Sorry for the late update. Just wanted to make sure we at least gave you guys some news as to what's happening around the XFL today. We're still waiting for quite a few things to drop, and just going to be posting things as soon as they drop. Keep you guys updated on everything that happened. But fortunately, not a lot of news today. We're about 5 days away. Monday here, the first official XFL kickoff game is on Saturday. So right now we're just waiting for official depth charts to release. We're still waiting for the XFL to release their fantasy platform. They did announce today, I believe they released a iPhone app, which is pretty cool, but I don't have an iPhone, so I haven't been able to test that out yet. But hopefully they'll be making that fantasy announcement soon. And like I said, I'm really trying to hold back on releasing any ranking previews and things this week until we have the official depth charts in front of us. Hopefully, we'll be getting those here within the next couple of days. I would imagine, they're not going to wait too much longer to get those out to us. We're still waiting, especially for like Houston. We're waiting for them to tell us who their starting quarterback is. So that's going to be huge, especially for daily fantasy. Now, there's also some updates to DraftKings. They released a different lineup setup than the one that I posted in the video. So over there, now they have lineups where you have it's more structured. You have a quarterback, a running back, two wide receivers, two flexes, and a defense. So, once we have the official depth charts, we'll go ahead and post a video as well, giving you guys some ideas and some different value plays for DraftKings if you're into daily. We've also been doing a lot of work on our website at fantasyaddictionnetwork.com, trying to get everything ready for week one. We have rankings posted now, but just keep in mind those will be adjusted once the depth charts come out. Right now, we're just basing them off of our projections, which may or may not be the final projected or may accurate as compared to the final depth chart that when that is released. So just bear that in mind. But if you go to fantasyaddictionnetwork.com now, they're actually live. You can see the rankings there. We'll also be posting a video. We've created a trade calculator for you guys. I'm not sure how many other websites are actually going to be even doing anything into the season for the XFL, but we wanted to make sure that you guys, anyone that's involved in a league, has the ability to still do everything you want to do or need to do in fantasy, and trading is definitely one of those. So we created a calculator for you guys, and this is something that will carry over into the NFL season as well. It's a much, it's a completely different way of looking at it. Most trade charts just give you a value of player A and player B, and you do the math and figure out, this player is better than this player, or this group of players has more value than this group of players, so you should make the trade. But this trade calculator actually looks at your entire team, and it tells you whether or not it's increasing the value to your starters or your bench, and it gives you an overall value to your trade, just overall to your team, which is, really good, because ultimately that's what actually matters. Like, if you just compare the value of two players, but it doesn't actually take into consideration the entirety of your team, then it's not really doing the job for you. So that's why we're giving you guys a completely new way of looking at that. So you can check that out now. Like I said, I will be posting a video on how to use that here pretty soon, but it is on the website now if you guys want to check it out. Pretty much we have everything up there, at least the basic stuff now. Just know, again, the rankings will probably change a little bit as we go on. As we see, John is saying he's praying for another platform than Alt Fantasy Sports. I give Alt Fantasy Sports tons of props. Brian over there, so it's basically a guy that really loves fantasy football, and he really loves coding, and he's created that site. If he hadn't done that for us, we'd literally have no other option right now other than playing DraftKings. So I know that website is definitely not as robust as like an ESPN or an NFL or a Yahoo or a CBS sports app, or even like Sleeper. It's definitely a bit more bare bones than that, but the fact that we even have something rather than having to do this the old-fashioned way on paper or using like an Excel sheet is a tremendous step up. So I still give Brian tons of props over at Alt Fantasy Sports. And, at this point, like I said, we're still waiting for the XFL to release a platform. And they've told us that they would pretty early on in the week, but it's already Monday. We have games starting on Saturday. So who knows when that's actually going to happen. But even if they do, it gives us a very short turnaround time to actually turn around and start drafting leagues. So you have to think, if they released a fantasy platform, an official one, it would be good news, but still, then you have to assemble league mates, send out the invites, create all your logins because it would be a completely new site, set the draft time and get it going. So for most people, really the only time that you're going to have would be, I would assume, Friday night. Friday night is a big draft night for a lot of people. So if they release that app tomorrow, then I guess we have a little bit of time to assemble a draft before Friday night, but we really can't push it too far into Saturday because the games start on Saturday. It's not like we have Saturday all day. We'd have to do early morning drafts. But still, if they get us an app platform early, then we can use it. I'm just not sure that we can expect that at this point. And Ranger King, I definitely agree. I would like to see depth charts by tomorrow. Like I said, I'm kind of holding back on a lot more analysis because I've done a lot of analysis based on projections, but I'd like to actually see some real data before we continue more into the land of speculation. I mean, at this point, we're so close to the league. They should have those depth charts to us any single day now. And yeah, I did see that FanDuel, I saw that they released betting for, like, you can bet on season lines and on individual game lines. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but have they actually released like daily contests yet where you can set lineups, or is it just the weekly and season long lines? I'll have to go double check that. But yeah, like I said, DraftKings has definitely released some updates and given us some more uh, choices to the lineups. I'd like the structure a lot better than the original one that they did, like the showdown, where you have like the the captain that scores 1.5 points, but they were just all flex positions. So now having the quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex in the defense, something going to make sure that you're filling that lineup a little bit more. Still, probably best that they chose not to use a tight end in their lineup structure, just because tight ends are going to be so hard to figure out on a weekly basis. That would be difficult, but at the same point, that would also make the lineups a bit more diverse. So it should be interesting to see how those actually turn out. There's a lot. I mean, especially if you've been following, I feel like if you're willing to invest some money, if you like playing daily fantasy, there's actually a lot of values to be had. I mean, they still have guys that are on IR that are costing a lot of money, and then you have their replacements or just players that are kind of under the radar from a DraftKings standpoint that are incredibly low priced right now. Also really happy that they have Quentin Flowers ranked as a running back, but he's only like $3,900 compared to most running backs are around 8,000. So you just slide Quentin Flowers in as your running back. I'm already giving away my secrets, but slide him in as your running back. I think I have a lineup where I was even able to start Sammy Coates, Rashad Ross, and Mikael McKay because of being able to start Quentin Flowers at my running back. And then right now, Philip Walker is also like $7,800 compared to every other quarterback being around 10 grand. So again, as soon as we get those freaking depth charts, we'll actually be able to start setting our lineups for sure at, on Alt Fantasy Sports and on DraftKings. Because if Philip Walker is the starter, like we're projecting, like we've been hearing, he's a tremendous value over there at DraftKings right now. It's probably going to end up being the biggest chalk play of the week. But I mean, the typical strategy in daily is either go all the way up or all the way down for quarterbacks, and Philip Walker would definitely be the bare bottom because he's like $2,000 cheaper than the next most expensive quarterback, which is ridiculous. But when DraftKings releases their pricing, they don't change it. So that right now they think that Connor Cook's going to be the starter, but based on the news that we've got over the weekend, it looks like Philip Walker is going to be the guy. Well, again, as I said, unfortunately, not too much more news today. So hopefully we'll have more for you guys tomorrow. And like as soon as something breaks, we'll try to get that out to you guys first. Make sure that you're updated. But like I said, check out my website. Go to fantasyaddictionnetwork.com. Like I said, we released a lot of cool updates today. We have rankings on there now. Going to be adjusting those as the depth charts come out. But feel free to check that out. Hit me up in the comment section below as well if you guys have any recommendations or site tools. We're really, opening this up to the floor, letting you guys have access to this for free. This will give us, inside information as to what you guys want and something that we can build off of going into the NFL season. But really, I'm trying to design a tool that is going to be incredibly quick and handy, something that you can just quickly log in and find the exact information that you want in like 5 minutes or less. Because that's really what I've felt is the most like missing piece out there in the fantasy sphere, and obviously in the XFL it's going to be even more missing. But like whenever I am in need of information, especially like towards the end of the football season near the NFL, it's like December. A lot of people are either taking finals or they're working incredibly late because Christmas time brings about a lot of stress at a lot of jobs. And it always seems like if you really want to stay up to date with everything from a fantasy perspective, you have to be willing to listen to like multiple hour-long podcasts every single day of the week. Most people don't have time to do that. So kind of what we're trying to design at the Fantasy Addiction Network is to give you guys the exact information that you need in a very short time. So that way, if you're incredibly busy, you don't need to invest hours upon hours to continue to compete and do well. But if you guys have any questions or recommendations, like I said, hit me up in the comment section below. And Ranger King, I will look into the FanDuel DFS. I'll probably release a video on that. But again, that'll be far more relevant once we have the depth chart. So I'll probably hold back until we get that information as well. But anyway, not really much more to say. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you as soon as we get some more news. Take care.